What is the saddest detail about your life that no one knows? When my brother and I were 9 and 7, my mom told me she could not afford chocolate Easter eggs for us. I told my brother that we should not expect chocolate on Easter morning. He giggled and said, "Dennis, mom's saying that to surprise us." I knew he was wrong, but he thought I was being silly. Next day, no chocolate. I was sick to my stomach in dread all night, and to see the look on his face in the morning and the immediate realization it was no joke killed me a little inside. I'm 47 now and it is still a horrible memory. I am the 11th of 12 kids from a very loving family. He is 12th. I never told anyone and never bring it up as it brings back memories of the extreme poverty of being a boy. Now, at work I initiate for the collection of food for the various food cupboards and the Shepherds of Good Hope Christmas hamper every year. No one knows why and prob thinks it's an attempt to get favor, but it's so much not. Wow, so many replies. You are all wonderful and kind. Life is good now. Me and my brother moved to Ottawa. Good jobs and we both own, in partnership with the bank, LOL. Our own homes. Life is good and I always have a chocolate in the freezer. Love frozen chocolate. At Easter, I put a few solid chocolate bunnies in. Be kind to each other. It warms my heart to see that you made a bad situation and experience into something worthwhile and wonderful. I'm sure your actions made the lives of many others more comfortable. When asked, I tell people that I'm an only child. It is easier than explaining that all of my siblings passed before the age of 10. God damn it. I lost my big sister in a car accident when I was 12-13, and I do the exact same thing when people ask. Then I always feel bad against her afterwards, as it's almost disregarding her existence. Now I'm sad. My sister and my dad used to think it was funny when, starting at 3 or 4 years old, every time my mom was going to be gone for an expanded period of time, they would say, "She isn't coming back. She doesn't love you. She doesn't want you around. She's gone forever." They thought it was funny because I loved her and I would have a breakdown. What they didn't know was my mom would always tell me if it wasn't for me she could have gotten back with her true love. And when I was older she would say she didn't love me and she didn't think anyone ever would. I was unlovable. She even tried suicide once or twice when I was much older and said the same thing and said she wished she had son she could love and wish have made her happy. She said this as I was on the line with 911, covered in vomit and crap. To this day I don't think I'll ever feel love. I have a wife, but mostly don't believe it. I found my mother's dead body when I was 8 years old. I buy myself a gift for my birthday. I can't remember the last time I got a gift from someone. My best friend called me just to talk. I told him I was too busy to talk. I blew him off to play Oblivion. That was the last time I ever spoke to him. He died of an overdose right after. A month before she died, my grandma wanted to see me just for a bit before I went to another city, to give me $50 bucks as a present because I got into med school. I almost didn't go and then just spent like 2 minutes with her and rushed to the bus terminal. She seemed so happy for me, and just the most genuine kind of happiness you can feel without getting anything from it. I was a major butthole who just wanted to get on this bus. She died a month after that from pneumonia. I never got to see her conscious again, but I cried next to her when she was almost gone, telling her to forgive me. After she died I included her in every small mental prayer I do before falling asleep, though I'm not particularly religious. And when I remember her and how much of a douche I was, I cry a bit. I hope she forgives me. I'm married but think that my husband never wanted this life. My Google history has both engagement rings. He never did the whole proposal thing and I want him to so bad. And how much it costs to get a divorce. It freaking kills me that none of my friends will ever text me first. If I don't send them a message I can go days without ever receiving a notification aside from the games on my phone, which also makes me feel horrible. Now that summer vacation is starting I don't know what I am going to do since I almost never get invited to anything and school was where I saw my friends. I'm scared that everyone secretly talks behind my back about me and that they are saying bad things. Every night I drink until I get drunk and pass out because I can't handle how sad I feel. I always push away those I love because I don't want them to have to deal with my sadness either, but they end up thinking that I don't like them and I wish I could tell them the truth. There's strength in being vulnerable. I bet typing that made you feel like a burden was lifted off your shoulders. I think you should talk to at least one of your friends so they'll know that you don't hate them. Being lonely is the worst thing a person can feel. By opening up you'll allow yourself to heal and you'll build stronger bonds. PS shoot me a PM if you want to talk. I'm bitter of everyone else's successes and abilities, and I don't believe I'm worth anything. It's part my job right now to perform CPR on the dead and dying in the emergency department, sometimes while family watches. I love my job generally, but those times are hard. There's something deeply unsettling about being the person pumping someone's heart in the first place, but when the code is called and you just stop, and that's it. That last chest compression was the last time their heart will beat, and it was you. It's very humbling, and I always treat patients with kindness and respect because I'm about as close to death as it gets, and kindness and servitude just seem right. I don't know. Yeah, paramedic here. I've seen some horrific stuff. The thing that stays with me and upsets me the most is the sound of a wife screaming and crying as we worked her husband's cardiac arrest in their living room. I love being a paramedic, but things like this break my heart, maybe more than they should. When I was very little I 100% believed my dad was going to show up every time he was supposed to. Him not existing in my life didn't change this belief. So every single time he was supposed to arrive, I would sit and silently cry at the window. Hey, I grew up without my dad too, and even though he left us and said he'll come visit, he never showed up, and it makes me sad to this day. You aren't alone, and if you need someone to talk to you can talk to me. Just be too hard on yourself or let the negative thoughts control you, and please don't think it's your fault. I stole food from my high school so I could take it home for my siblings to eat. Abusive, drug-addicted mom who sold her food stamps for drugs. I'm a pretty normal and well-adjusted human these days, or at least I like to think so. People would never guess I spent my childhood growing up in absolute poverty. I've lived in tents and vehicles, eaten out of dumpsters, and stolen other people's pet food just for something to eat. One place we lived was so infested with mice that I got used to having them run over me while I slept. I still have a scar on my finger from the time one of them decided to chomp me. When I read sob stories about third world poverty conditions, my first thought is, what the frick are they complaining about? They've got it good. And then I remember that perhaps my upbringing isn't the best yardstick to judge good against. I am so lonely I sometimes hold my own hands when I'm falling asleep just to picture what it would be like to actually touch someone that wants to touch me. I hug a pillow. Can't sleep without it. My dog drowned in our pool. I fished her out and buried her in the backyard with one of my brothers before the rest of the family found out. I still don't know how she fell in. She hated the water and try to avoid thinking about it because it breaks my heart. One of the last things my mom asked for and ate before she died was an orange creamsicle. 3 years later, they are still in my freezer. I just can't seem to throw them out. I got a 6-pack of Pepsi from my brother's funeral and brought it home. I drank the first 5, but for some strange reason I couldn't bring myself to drink the last one for years. We do strange things when coping with death. I also still have his Gran Turismo saves with all his ghost recordings. I've told my friends and family that I just don't want kids, but actually I've known for years that I can't. I hate it. I don't have a life. I just exist. Frick, I just want to give everyone here hugs. You and me both. When I was a kid and living with my psycho mother, I finally convinced her to let me get a dog. Anyways, a couple months later, when I loved that little puppy more than anything, my mother drowned it in the bathtub. A little late to the game, but oh well. When I was 16, the heat in our house got shut off. It was the dead of winter in Michigan. My mom liked to spend her disability checks on cable and Mountain Dew instead of bills. My sister and I gathered up all the blankets in the house and we both slept in the living room on separate couches. What no one knows is during the middle of the night my sister kept saying, "I'm too cold. Is there any more blankets?" So I gave her mine. I tried sleeping in my winter jacket but ended up being too cold. You're a good sibling. I was pregnant 8 years ago. I have a 20% chance of conceiving. So, I looked at it like a miracle. My boyfriend at the time threatened to break up with me if I didn't abort it. I bought a baby book in Little Booties. 3 days later, I miscarried. He made me return the baby book and throw away the flowers a friend bought me. I don't talk about it much. It was my only chance at having a child and I failed. So, I have to pretend that I don't want kids and that I am totally happy being child free, even though it eats me up inside. Throwaway account. People know my Reddit account. I've been lying to what's left of my friends and my family, but I spent my first year of university completely alone and made no friends in uni at all. Didn't go to any events or parties or gatherings. I spent learning all alone and I didn't have anyone, didn't ask anyone for help with all the subjects I was struggling. It was all school, go live in my one-man pad, go to my part-time job, rinse and repeat. It was lonely as heck and I just silently suffered through it. I'm not looking forward to it when I come back to school at fall. Hey man, I hope things get better for you and you don't feel so alone. If you need someone to talk to, my inbox is always open. I was severely neglected by my parents, so now I have no self-esteem. Pretty much everything I do is a constant struggle against the weight on my shoulders that no one cares, and whatever I'm doing will never be good enough. No amount of success or achievement ever lifts me up for more than a few fleeting moments, and is quickly forgotten in my personal legacy of constant disappointment, because nothing I do will ever replace the love and affection I should have had as a child. Needless to say, I have trouble with relationships. I grew up alone. I live alone. I expect to die alone. I used to sit and eat my lunch alone in a bathroom stall every day during junior high school, 1999 to 2002. I had major insecurity issues and thought no one wanted to eat lunch with me. To this day, whenever I eat the type of sandwiches I ate then, I can smell the school bathroom. I used to sit in there and then hide whenever someone came in. I didn't even read. I would just sit there worried that someone would see me. I memorized every detail of that stall. I could probably recreate it in detail 14 years later. Every day my mother would make my lunch for me to take to school, and she had no idea that I was eating it all alone in an empty bathroom. The worst part is that no one ever asked where I went during lunch, feeding into my insecurity that no one missed me. I've never told a soul, not even my wife. I wasn't born a frail, slow-functioning, socially awkward human being. I just have Lyme disease. I get the feeling that everyone either thinks I have an eating disorder, I'm slightly retarded, a freak, or all of the above. I mean, I am those things, just not how they think. Oh well though, that's life sometimes. I try. I have never had a friend or girlfriend at 24 years of age. I'm in love with someone and I will never be with them. I miss being anorexic. At the height of it, I had lost everything in my life except the disease. It was all I had, but damned if I wasn't good at it. Even as I was slowly dying, I felt some sort of distorted happiness. I only lived for one thing, but it made me feel purposeful. Now that I've recovered from anorexia, I care about all the other things in my life, but they're still pretty much non-existent. I have few friends, no partners, overbearing parents. I hate school, whatever you name it. See, I didn't have these things during the illness either, but then, I didn't care. Now, they are just more things to get me down. And to top things off, I'm doing a lot of binge eating and I can't even see how I could get back to where I was anymore. So yeah, I'd rather be miserable than empty. I killed my bird. I love birds and I accidentally killed him. He was a sun conure named, well, Sunny. Sunny would often escape his cage and because his wings were clipped he would hop over to me, usually while I'm sitting at my desk, just so he can hang out on my shoulder. Well, one day Sunny was doing what he always did, making his way across the room to be with me. However, right as he was about to get to me, the phone rang and I promptly got up to answer it. As I stood up, I stepped down and heard what sounded like a dog's chew toy squeak. I immediately lifted my foot, but the damage was done. I held Sunny in my hand, splashing water on him to keep him from passing out. Eventually he just fell asleep in my hands and never came back. I was sobbing during the whole ordeal. I killed my innocent bird Sunny while he was doing what he always did. He had no idea that would be the day he died, and it was because I was careless. You have been visited by the holy doggo. Like this video and subscribe for a good luck. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.